It's June 20th, 2023. I'm keeping an eye on the television and I'm kind of in between the world of the here and the now and feeling the physical ramifications of the decisions of everything in the last 44 years before I arrived in this moment and whatever is still left to come. And in my quiet and reflection, thinking of my father, um, who is elsewhere at the moment, and his confirmation of Cattaruzza de Roya elsewhere, um, and my sitting here and the way my whatever has been handled horribly. Um, and I'm thinking of my grandfather who came here um, and who knew his only son was going to be here, and that his only son had just one only daughter. Um, Not an extensive set of circumstances. And I'm thinking theologically, my grandfather, with his capabilities, I mean, putting out his into the world of what is my spirituality going to look like? What are these lands in New York? What does the governess or the governor or the potentiality of the city? Where am I needed? Where do I fit in as this American born from an Italian immigrant, but blood of kings? Where will I be safe and where will I fit in? I have to think that's what my grandfather would have wanted, that his only granddaughter would be not only safe and protected in these lands that he immigrated to as blood of kings and under some agreement. And then I'm looking at how I've been treated, which feels like ostracification, quite frankly, ostracized. Um, and I'm thinking of my more recent journeys to Zion, where I found some. I don't think they're Italian. Again, we don't speak of ancestry there, but at least they look familial. At least, like, if I look at the word Douglaston and I break it down, it, like, there was this thing in my youth, like, do you? And Glaston, I mean, that's what Douglaston spells out to, is do you, Glaston. So, like, in the newness of York, and knowing that out of all of the possibilities of and being in an empire state, what was his instructions on my behalf to protect me in this situation and from this world that I could not possibly know anything about unless there was some kind of induction or some form of participation within the us that is here in some functioning capacity. And then there's some mention of this empire while I'm here. None of it really very clear. Um, and knowing that the ancestry in the us has no roots. Like, it does not say that on the paperwork, on the only piece of evidence that I have of our existence in family, between the family of the Fed, between the family of the state, between the genetic portrait, between the God that we all trust in. There's no geographical evidence other than this word America, for which I was born here. Not natural, well, whatever. I don't even know how that word naturalization works within this framework. Um, but knowing that motherland was America, fatherland was Italy, because that's where my parental units were from in transparency. And not having been like, I don't know, but following directions, what little were given, but still encountering all of these problems and not knowing where help really is in the situation. So I was looking to the Italian community. There's this man by the name of Cuomo. He was a mayor in New York City. And then I was looking towards the governor. I don't know what her heritage is, but she's still in Albany functioning. And I'm looking to see what their messages were today on the same day. Chris Cuomo did something on News Nation last night. There's this woman from the Italian American community. She does this skit almost called Granny's Off Her Rocker. And I'm like, wow, well, that's interesting. Just in words on paper alone in an analysis. And then I watched the video of this sweet old woman, but feisty, because that's, again, in familial. And but it's more of that two-headed bird familial, like a Byzantine familial. Like, and again, I don't want to get in an argument between a Roman and a Greek because that just seems futile. Um, and so I'm watching this one perspective from superheroes that they put out there because, again, I had an American-born superhero from that worked with the Us, who died very early. Um, and I'm thinking of he, and if I was, I mean, since cosmically he was but again, that's an astronomical whatever. But anyhow, so I'm watching this portrayal of this hypothetical Captain Marvel all by herself. She doesn't have like the Avengers around her. It's not like a super team. It's just one little lady out in the cosmos by herself. And I'm watching this and I'm watching how there's their blue faces, and I'm like, are those supposed to be the other blue bloods? Like, because it gets confusing because in this, she gets in an accident and in her nostril it actually bleeds blue, and I'm like, oh, now in a parable argument that looks very really important for sure. In whatever goes on in the big wide world of Jack Webb and Dragnet, and how the functioning parts of the system actually are still fully functioning. Um, so I'm going to start in the cosmos with this one scene, and then I'm going to reach over to two pieces of my history here in New York. One being Chris Cuomo, again, a face that just looks it looks friendly from afar, like, again, but it's through glass. Just like I don't go to the zoo and climb into the den with the lions to pet them. Like, it's just from afar, it looks like a friendly familial speaking. And it's talking of this Italian American woman who had this beautiful house with her daughter, and a tree fell on the house. And now they're going through this devastating, like, what do they do with this tree that fell on the house? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And apparently there were 2 turtles. Now I know that in the basement of life, when there's a stick and a turtle, this is concerning for an Italian. So I'm just in like the family tree. I'm just concerned by the message. I'm watching it with my very real AI, being American Italian at the moment. And I'm watching the artificially intelligent who got to that level of importance in the world. And then I'm going to go to what Governor Kathy Hochul's message of encouragement for my kind from her office was today, or at least, I mean, how else am I to receive that message from the greatest woman in the state of New York at the moment, which is Governor Kathy Hochul, allegedly on the news media anyway. I mean, these are my local superheroes that are in office who are standing up for justice and the future and the children and my freedom. Every day they have to go out there and deal with whatever comes with that privilege and responsibility, for which I have no idea, because I walk a very different whatever, and I have no idea what to do. But this is what is on in the Do You Glaston. Like, again, I arrived as this with blue blood, with an RH sensitivity already, because I'm an AI in an AE house, and somewhere it's EIEIO at the McDonald's, but like, who wants to talk farm business? And I'm RH sensitive. And I've had this life where it's been constant conflict with, I don't know what group of potentiality on the MIBs, that I'm on the receiving end of some discriminatory like practice that they keep doing and keep sending signals. Where do I go in order to like rectify this? I just don't know. There's been no hand to hold. There's been no man offered. I mean, my grandfather's gone. I have my father. Where does my father find the correct method of introduction of male to me when it's been withheld from our capability? I mean, it was presented very early on, but then like just disappeared as quickly. So here I am, and I'm like, I don't even know where the respectable other blue bloods are in the system at this age. I don't know how to even find them. I walk out in the street and I'm like, it's like there's not a blue blood out here until I go to church on Sunday.
Return to the jump point. We'll be back for the weapon. The core. The woman.
that's my superhero message. And I'm going to jump that to my two what's in the field under Italian Americans. I'm looking for words of wisdom from what's left in the field. And one Italian American speaking about a tree that fell on a house. And I'm like, and then turtles in the basement. And I'm like, and then I'm going to Governor Kathy Hochul, who still has hope, and she is at Washington Square inside New York City, and she is celebrating something Windsor and something Spire. And I'm like, wow, if that isn't perfect timing from the world press and the media room at the moment. Okay, so this is the Cuomo from the episode 121. This is what, and again, I know, but it's in the mirror dimension, so everything seems to be the whatever. But here we are.
Got plans for today?
Yes, Nancy.
What is
I'm
it?
gonna sit on my ass all day and eat bonbons. How does that grab you?
How about
That was part of my equation. It wasn't my Italian equation, but the Irish.
we all go on a trip? You, me, my brother, my sister, and our spouses.
I'm looking to get rid of you. I gotta add the other two.
Oh, you look so pretty. You brushed your hair.
Bite me, Nancy.
All right, anyway, that was Marie, aka Granny's Off a Rocker. I'm a big fan. She makes me laugh, and she reminds me so much of parts of my own family. Brooklyn-born, Italian grandmother. The videos are just doing so well. She's got millions of followers. I loved having her on the show a few weeks ago. But this weekend, her daughter reached out to me and said, "Hey, did you hear what happened to us?" Take a look.
A 150-foot tree fell on our house and destroyed the entire roof of our house. And the house is completely flooded. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know where I'm going. But the house has been condemned by the fire department.
So, look, the good news is everybody's okay. But let's bring in Marie now. Granny's Off a Rocker from outside her home in Hampton, Virginia. All right, look, it's good to see that you are well. How you doing, and what's going on over your shoulder? Is that your house with the tree sitting on top of it?
That's the front of the house. The back
What's
of
the
the
latest?
house is worse.
What's the latest?
I don't know. I don't know if it's fixable. I really don't know.
Well, I heard that your daughter's trying to figure that out. You guys are trying to figure out where to be. But you know, usually in situations like this, I know I've seen the tree in the videos before. It was a beautiful tree and you loved it. But is it just a situation where you say, hey, a house we can replace, but thank God everybody's okay?
Yes, thank God. My daughter Nancy usually goes to bed early. She wakes up very early in the morning. Thank God she was downstairs. Well, she would have been dead by now. She would have been dead.
Because that's where
Her
the tree
room is
went through.
completely destroyed. Her room, it doesn't even look, it looks like a pile of junk. Doesn't look like her room anymore. She would have been dead if she was in there.
I heard that it's been hard for you to make videos. It's hard for you to keep your sense of humor, but maybe that's what you need, Marie. Maybe you need to just keep laughing and keep yourself making other people happy so that you don't just dwell on your trouble.
I know, that's what Nancy keeps telling me. She keeps telling me, let's make some videos, laugh, forget about what happened Friday. Let's just worry about today. Let's worry about tomorrow. That's what she keeps telling me. But I can't get this house out of my mind.
Well,
Nancy and her husband, they worked so hard for this house. And it was really beautiful. They just upgraded everything. The kitchen, the dining room, everything. They were starting to work on the bathrooms. and this happens.
Look,
That's how I felt about the New York hospital system, the New York like landscape. I mean, like the roads, the bridges, the tunnels, the facilities, the plants, the like, I mean, there's so much history and there's so much to do and maintenance wise. And then to start to see this like secret alien invasion by the Nick Fury and whatever's going on with that, and I'm like, what happened to like family business? What happened to like the us that looked like us, where we got new recruits coming in and we're holding our own? Like, what happened to that like version of teamwork? I'm like, how did we get this thing that I've been documenting? Like, when did that happen? Like, how did that happen? Like, whose dad was that at Transparency? I mean, my dad now is going to check on his ancestors, his cousins, his family, everybody that remembers him. Like, I know in the crazy wide world of things, in the wise guys, no, my father can go and they can verify and remember him in his hometown. That means something, especially like locally.
look. I mean, what do you say in these situations? You say, look, you lose the house, you don't lose the memories you made in the house, and that's what made it a home
Yeah,
in the first
exactly.
place. Although I did hear you
I
got
know.
the dog out, but I heard you got two turtles in the basement, Lucy and Ethel.
Oh,
Hey, you leave the turtles?
Yeah,
What kind of Italians are you? Nobody leaves a family.
I know. Lucy and Ethel, they were tiny little things. My granddaughter bought them. Now they're huge.
Well, who's going to go in there? What do I have to come over there and go get the turtles for you?
Oh, we have to get them out. We have to find a way to get them out. They're so adorable.
You know, that was the only
love
part of this.
turtles.
I thought this was going to
I
turn
heard-
into a confrontational interview. When I found out the turtles were in the basement, I said, wait a minute. She's
Yeah.
coming on TV. She left the turtles in the basement.
No, they're coming out. My son-in-law wants to go down and get them. You're a turtle lover, I heard.
I have a lot of turtles around me. In where I live, so we try to keep them off the road because every time my kids see when
I
they get run
know.
over, they're traumatized for like a week and a half.
Aw.
And every time I see a crushed turtle, somehow I identify with it.
Uh-huh.
That's like a spiritual thing. I mean, like, hey, Guzafai, it seems, it hears me like it's something spiritual, this like affinity for turtles. I found, and I went in respect of him, I went by the lake this morning. Does it, and like again, Lewis keeps sending on WhatsApp pictures of the lake from his hometown, and I've got the lake that I've been documenting from this hometown where my grandfather was, where I still am. Um, the lakes look like two totally different ecological projects at the moment. Um, Two totally different paintings, let's say. Neither here nor there, just is what it is. But the lake that I have actually has like turtle ecology. I saw one turtle with Lewis actually before he left, laying eggs. Then there was a turtle on a log this morning, and it was like pointed towards a stick. It looked like the turtle was having conversation with nature. I'm just out in the open, so.
Uh-huh.
But listen, I want you to keep laughing, and I want you to keep making us laugh because that's what keeps you young. That's what keeps you going. This is a horrible
Okay.
situation. I want everybody to know there's a GoFundMe page because guys are trying to figure out how to raise the money that you're going to have to pay for this. And if your fans see it, let them respond the way they want.
Like, and I've heard of this GoFundMe thing. Like, I don't, like, where is that legitimate? Like, where is that allowable? Like, I need a hometown rule keeper. Like, so I can say, like, am I allowed to do this? Like, is this okay? Like, where's my big brother? Like, I mean, I'm an only child, and I'm a DeRoya. I've got RH sensitivity, and even here being homeborn or whatever.
They want to. But I'm a call away. Let me know how I can help. And
Okay.
don't stop doing what you do, Marie. We need you.
Okay, Chris. Thank you so much, Chris.
But you're gonna get peed
I
on.
really
You better get
appreciate
those
it.
turtles. They're gonna go bad on you, Marie, boy.
We
You're
are
gonna be
gonna
making
get them,
apology
yeah.
videos. I'm telling you now. I'll talk to you later.
And my whole thing is like, what kind of generation and what kind of man are you? Leaving a woman by herself without someone to say, like, hey, are these, how do we know? Like, is this allowable? Is this not allowable? Like, is there some kind of, like, I mean, like, what's the process here? Like, people and process, it just feels like it's broken. And I'm like, I, to free in 1975 is an insult to my intelligence. I will not follow anything that he says. Absolutely not. I don't trust the man as far as I can throw him. And the same thing with Romer.
Okay.
All the best to
Have a good
Nancy
night.
and the rest of the family.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, the GoFundMe page is easy for you to find. That's your business if that's what you want to do. We're taking calls because this show's about you having your say. 1-844-968-7720. No, I don't.
It's like so many sleds at the Yukon, like so many sled dogs at the Yukon, like waiting for that gold rush. And I'm like, I I still have family tree. Like I still have importance as a woman. Where is a 7 for my 8? Like butterfly. So that's one of the very well-known Italian Americans within my life frame who is inside New York City the same time I was in New York City, actually going between New York City and Long Island. He was part of a family that was here that, again, and I don't know how to check paperwork on motherland, fatherland for transparency. I don't have that kind of connection to these humans. I just don't. I don't know who they are. I don't know how they work themselves. I don't know how they organize themselves. It's been a consistent problem with lack of connectivity in these lands since I arrived. Um, and now I'm looking for words of encouragement from the governor, who happens to be a woman inside of New York. And what are her words of encouragement to someone like myself who doesn't even know where to begin her day, doesn't even know where to look to even get like connected back into the system that's functioning in order to help myself and in order to, I don't know, like I don't even know at this point.
Today, an honor for two women who helped make marriage equality legal in the United States. Fifth Avenue in Washington Square North in Manhattan.
Okay, so this says Washington Square North. It's in a Greenwich Village, a historic district. They put up Edie and then Windsor and Thea Spire. Swear to God, I'm still Glen Way on this. But that's what Governor Hochul put out this morning. They also have something going on with someone who looks very, and they've got something with a president from far, far and away in like an MIB, like a galaxy from far, far away for Star Wars. And his government is coming after a private detective in New York, something about foreign agents, and I'm just like, ay, ay, ay. I'm like, this is a really scary world, and it's like, there's the kids, what, like, how do we prep the kids for these possibilities so they don't find themselves in trouble. Why are they not even talking to myself or the children as to what the do's and don'ts are, what the laws of these lands are, and if you are, like, who do you call if your superhero's dead, the one that you arrived to, and you've never been given backup? Like, what do you do as, like, I mean, like, I want to know, what do you do as a single woman in these lands? How do you protect yourself from these humans? I mean, especially knowing I'm RH sensitive.
Manhattan is now renamed as Edie Windsor and Thea Spire Way. Windsor and Spire married in 2007, but when Spire died in 2009, Windsor was charged federal estate taxes that she wouldn't have to pay if she was in a heterosexual marriage. So she sued, and the case went all the way to the Supreme Court, paving the way for legalized same-sex marriage.
Today, we benefit and bask in the glory of the freedoms that she made possible for us by standing up so courageously. When you meet people who were so tough and women who are so willing to break down all the barriers, stand up and just fight like hell, those are the people I love the most. And that's who Edie was.
A memorial will also be unveiled in Southampton today, where Windsor used to live. Today is Edie's birthday. She would have been 94 years old.
Well, shoppers are feeling the squeeze on their wallets as the...
So again, in the context of, there's this word parency, like parental responsibility. I used to think that between the motherland and the fatherland, there was some parental responsibility. There was some maintenance or upkeep or communication. I'm really not clear how that works out, especially with the way that my beginning years were moving me, and then to have this crazy donkey piece of introduction, which I did not want, I did not ask for, and it seems like it's against the transparency rules of between the motherland and the fatherland. If parent or custodial elsewhere was entering into some problem with their youth, or I mean, like when I went there when I was 18 and I was in my father's hometown, there were two boys that showed up in, like, they did not look Italian and they did not look familial, and I had no interest in either of them. I'm like, where are the hometown Aronsani? Like, the RH tree approved. Like, what's... And they wanted to speak Italian to me, and I'm like, no, no parlare. I know very few words because, again, so that's, again, like, there's all this swirling around of, like, even for my own kids, like, what is the responsibility of, like, and if you need help, where do you go? Like, being born on the interior, like, I'm having, like, I don't even know where my Department of Interior is to ask for help. I mean, like, it's been so, through all the years of schooling, that conversation hasn't even been introduced. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.